What up, though? We back at it. It's Detroit Debo.
MF and Jen.
And Relly B.
And this is the Unwrapped Podcast.
All right, man. So, look.
What you got to talk to us about?
Popularity versus talent. Where do you feel like, what do you think matters today, you know, in the current state of hip-hop? Like, is it popularity or is it talent?
Can I say?
Go ahead.
Can I say?
Ladies first.
Popularity, duh. That's what this generation is about.
All right, and how you feel, Gene?
100%. I agree. Popularity is the thing.
All right, look, I'm going to say.
You're going to try to disagree.
No, I ain't going to play it like that. I'm going to say popularity, man, because it's at a, you know, we at a state now where popularity is just like, it is what matters. Like, talent don't matter. Like, the listeners and the viewers don't care about the talent. They just care about, really, piggybacking off of last week, they care about the beat. They care about if you active on social media. And, you know, if you popping. Like, that's it.
Following,
you know
that's what they care about.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even think about it until you just said it. But at this point, like, it's really more so, that's like the third fold to the game. Because before it was like, okay, so hip-hop had 4 pillars, right?
Uh-huh.
It was breakdancing, graffiti, MCing, and beat making. Right? And then, like, years down the road, like, a fifth element was added in fashion, right? Yeah. Now we got, like, another wave to it where it's like how much clout you have. Like, that is more important than
anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Man. Shout out to FBG Duck and them, man, because they claim that they originated the whole clout movement out there in Chicago, man. So shout out to them.
Come on, stop.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I didn't even
look. FBG Duck, man, he made Slide. It's a song called Slide. Check that out.
I don't know that one.
He hot. He just got signed recently to, I think, Sony. But yeah. So they originate that. They get kind of, you know what I'm saying, within Chicago. A lot of artists trying to say that they created the whole clout in Chicago.
Yeah, no.
We talk about
okay,
Chicago.
Maybe in Chicago.
We ain't talking about we ain't talking about in the world. You know what I'm saying? But
just in Chicago.
they kind of like you know what I'm saying, brought it to life. You know what I'm saying, on a national scale as far as the clout, the word clout and the meaning of it, they brought it to life.
Okay.
Because nobody
if you had a very little commanding of the English language, then maybe they made clout relevant for
that
you.
might be what it be. You know what I'm saying? That might be what it is. But yeah, just popularity, man. Like, I just feel like popularity is, you know, it trumps the talent, because you look back in like the 90s. You really could talk about the 90s, man. Like, where you had DMX, Ja Rule. You know what I'm saying? Well, Ja Rule, would you say 90s?
Ja Rule is till 90s, early 2000s.
But it was more so like, you gotta spit, and if you ain't spitting, like,
you ain't nobody.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't nobody. Like,
that's what I was getting at when I brought up the pillars that made up hip hop. Back then, those were the things that made you a part of the culture. Now, you don't have to be good at any of those things. You really only need to have a big social following, and you could be made into a star. If you had 100,000 followers,
that's all.
Yeah, if you had 100,000 followers,
y'all think I'm ranking these followers? Because that's all they look at.
But look, like,
when
it comes to the popularity, man, and just clout and all of that, I feel like the poster child for this right now is Tekashi 6ix9ine.
You think so?
Because Tekashi 6ix9ine, he, you know, made it cool and okay to just talk out the side of your neck.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
He's
like,
not.
And he's focused on the views. That's what fuels his.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
he's a child of the
trolling.
social media.
You know what I mean? Trolling is like it seems to be his number one focus. Trolling is what he's built his career on. And I mean, it's worked. It's really worked. Like,
so I can't really.
You don't listen to it? Yeah.
Right. See, but
you know who he is though, right?
Yeah.
Rainbow hair, right?
Is that the one that just?
No, that's X, man. That's X.
Let me tell you.
Tekashi 6ix9ine, because she wasn't sure. But no, like, I mean, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he just recently, it just happened, like, at 4 a.m. this morning. Yeah. He got pistol whipped and kidnapped and robbed.
In
front of his house.
Yes.
Let me find out people out here kidnapping.
In front of his house.
Look, man.
That is
right,
not
in front
okay.
of his house, man. So he was leaving a video shoot. He wrapped up the video shoot, drove home. They followed him to his house, pistol whipped him.
You gonna kidnap me though? Let me get pistol and take my stuff. Don't kidnap me.
But see, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we gonna take what we gonna take, but it's not enough because you've built a career on trolling. You kind of brought this on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And that's I would have been in the back of that truck.
But no, see, that's the thing. He, like he said, like that was his whole thing. I'm gonna get in front of the camera and I'm gonna pop off as much as I can. I'm gonna talk as reckless as possible. So when you go into these different cities and you interacting with these different people who really in the street and really about the life that you claiming,
they gonna try to see if you
I'm
about that
gonna
life.
test your car. I'm gonna pull that car.
And he was in his own city
about.
when this happened. He was in Brooklyn. He was either Brooklyn or
Bronx.
You know what I'm saying?
Did they give him back?
Yeah. So look. So they
to the hospital.
Yeah. So this what happened. So after they pistol whipped him and all of that, he then was put into the back seat of a car. I'm not sure if it was the car he was riding in or whatever, but put him in the car, and then one of the gunmen stayed with him to make sure he didn't get away, and then the other gunman ran into his house.
You gonna go in my house?
And robbed him.
I want
his girl and his kid were there, and I mean, you know, they weren't hurt, which is good. They weren't hurt, and he once the gunman came out with the stuff with the jewelry, and I think they said like $12,000 or $20,000 in cash. Once they came out, they was driving away, and Tekashi jumped into survival mode, and he just jumped out the back seat while the car was moving.
See, but this is the thing. You and let it be said that the Unwrapped Podcast does not in any way, shape, or form condone this type of behavior. But when you open the door for these types of things, this is what's gonna happen. Like you just said, when you build a career off of talking reckless about different people from different cities, and shoot, he was in his own city. Somebody gonna see about you. Somebody gonna see if that's what you're really about.
I don't care how much I talk.
You say you can do whatever, but
you can take whatever you want.
Don't take me.
Do whatever, just don't put me in the trunk.
They would have gave me back. I would have been.
She said she ain't going, man. It's over.
They would have had to take my mouth. I would have been back there hitting up everybody.
So they said when Tekashi escaped from the back of the car, he jumped into the car of a civilian. So it was late, 4 a.m.
Don't jump in my car.
He jumped in the car, and that's what, you know, I was like,
if you jump in my car at 4 in the morning, I'm shooting.
With rainbow hair. Let's not forget the rainbow hair tattoos on the face, too.
Jump in my car.
They thought he was probably a refugee or something. Like, I don't know. Like just an escaped refugee or something. But he did that, and then, yes.
First of all, if I'm up, I'm drunk.
Yeah, for sure. You laying on your bed.
She
laying on her bed, and the bed is spinning. She feel like she, you know what I'm saying, you know, but I mean,
no, don't do that.
He so then the civilian called. I'm imagining in this position he's begging, you know what I mean, like please help, call the police. Course. So that's what the lady, or I'm not sure if it was lady or male, but the person called the police, and that's when she told him to get out of my vehicle. He got out and they arrived there. You know what I mean, and that's how he got to the hospital. Okay. But
well,
I mean, you know, that you know, kind of jumped off of topic, but it's just like popularity kind of sort of, you know, it got him to that position. To you know what I mean? Like chasing the popularity.
Right. See, and that's the thing. Like the sad part is he actually has talent. Because you can't ink a deal.
I wouldn't know.
Well, exactly. You wouldn't know. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you have to do something to catch, like, a record label's eye. You have to do something to catch.
That's that haircut.
Right.
Not necessarily talent, though. It could
not necessarily talent. It could have been popularity.
You know what I mean?
Very true. Could have been popularity. Because, like I just said, you could make a star ready. Like, somebody could have 100,000 followers.
I
could be
I
like,
could write your rap for you.
So you could go get the best writer. And then, boom, you got a star made right there with following. But
he came with already. We ain't even have to work for it.
Right. But what I'm saying is just okay. So of course.
But actually, hold up. Actually, he's still independent, so he hasn't even gotten signed.
Okay.
That's what he prized. But see,
but
I think
even
the
then,
labels
is what I'm saying. Like, this is my point. Like, of course you're gonna have your outliers that just get on just based off of popularity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But more or less, like, in order for a record label or any type of person of any reputable business to look at you, you're going to have to be doing something that they feel they can enhance their business with. So by signing you, you're going to bring so much to the label. You have some type of value there.
Right.
But these children, like you said, they get caught up in, like, the popularity, so they forget their value.
Right.
They more so focused on clickbait behavior. What's the next thing that I can do that's going to get people to follow me? Like, if I say something this crazy, then maybe I can get, like the people who were claiming they killed XXX Tentacion.
Yeah.
That's crazy as hell. Nobody should want to claim that you murdered somebody, but they got him 400,000 followers.
I feel like the popularity aspect really comes to play heavily today because these artists are getting paid more so for shows. So it's like if I can kind of create like some theatrical experience, that's how I'm gonna get paid at the end of the day. You know what I mean? If they know I'm crazy and I'm
right, but
you know
you
what I'm
also
saying?
don't want your theatrical, for the lack of better words, I'm gonna say theatricalness. I ain't even sure that's a word.
Hey, look, for real.
I wouldn't know. So can't correct you here.
But look, but let's just say you don't want that to impede you making money because now, okay, you may be thinking, let me add another layer to this because I'm only getting paid off the live show. But now, if I'm doing this wild stuff, when I go to the live show, I got people looking for me.
Yeah.
Like God bless the dead, at XXX Tentacion, I believe it was, San Francisco, like 4 years ago?
When he got
got into it with Ski Mask, the Slum God, or somebody. He got into it with somebody, one of these other young rappers. And I guess he thought it was sweet. He pulled up to the city and was performing. And in the middle of his show, a dude just came out. All you saw was a dude come from the left and just rock him. Like,
that was like at the beginning of his career, like when he first took
actually,
off.
Didn't he get stabbed too?
Oh my God.
He got stabbed too.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
You
If
might
I was
be
in the
right.
rap game, I quit.
But
I quit because you're not gonna stab me. You're not gonna kidnap
Look,
me. Don't come to my performance
But
trying to fight because no. I
and
quit.
that might be misinformation. I know throughout that experience, somebody got stabbed. All of that, coming from that beef.
We know what Relly B
Still
is not
too
gonna
much.
be doing,
I'm
man.
sticking to radio, to podcast and all that.
But that's the point that I'm making, though. Like, don't get so caught up in the theatrics that it now impedes your actual money, like you just said.
Right. So I mean, the talent aspect of it, though, I
It's
feel
a lot
like
of talent.
yeah, it's a lot of talent.
yeah, for sure.
It's just
It's
right
just
now it's being
popularity is
overshadowed by
overshadowed.
popularity,
And
but
that's bold.
Overshadowed.
it is, man. It is, but the talent. If you're an artist who you have an incredible amount of talent, it's still a place for you. But it's a place for you.
The underground.
in your own created fan base.
The
You know what I
local
mean?
underground.
Not the
Like
local.
the
It's a
Well,
national
showcase.
underground. It's a national underground.
Yeah,
Like, it's
because
undergrounds
if you-
everywhere in every
right.
city. So
And if you're big enough, you transcend rather. Because
Yeah,
look at Chance the Rapper. Like, he never signed a major deal, but he has all the notoriety of a major label rapper.
And he already have a following base.
But he didn't always have that.
Exactly.
had
Because
to
I
capture
remember
that because
listening to Chance the Rapper in 2011 on his first tape, the 10-day tape. That was his first solo project. But people didn't get hip to Chance the Rapper until 2015 when he started making music with Kanye. I mean, short of his fans, you know what I'm saying, the people who followed him through that underground time, he didn't have mainstream notoriety until then.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of it's always gonna be that section of fans who still want the talent. You know what I mean? So if you can do a good job with balancing your image with the talent, you can capture them all across the globe. You know what I mean? But you gotta have that talent. It gotta be talent. Like, because if you don't have the talent or the image or the popularity, it's like you don't have a place. You know what I mean? So
You definitely don't have a place.
yeah, you don't have a place.
So let me get your opinion on this phrase that I heard, and it went a little something like hard work.
I thought you was about to bust out with a
I
freestyle.
thought
man.
it was about to be some more.
Y'all.
He said it
All
like
right,
he
go.
was about to really just showcase it. Oh, I got talent.
No,
was about to let us know.
All right, go ahead, go
I ain't
ahead.
about to be rapping on this show.
I was ready for it. I'm like, what he about to say?
Hey, I was ready for some fire, man.
Nah, man, look. So it goes a little something like talent beats hard work, but hard work beats talent when talent isn't working.
I heard
Yeah.
that.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about that? Because we have a lot of artists who are very talented and, they feel like they should get, they're shy and they feel like they're being robbed by artists who don't have much talent because we can all sit here and agree that the industry as is more so about clout and about, your presence as a social media figure and just how wild you are versus talent. Right. So we can admit that that's where the game is now. And up under that, you got artists complaining, saying like, okay, well, I'm talent, and those people are like taking up my spot, but they're not working.
Yeah, so it's a very accurate statement. It really is a very accurate statement, but it's almost kind of like it's kind of hard to maneuver through it today because popularity is so dominant today. So it's hard to maneuver through it, but you can do it because if you have talent, like undeniable talent, you have to work hard. Nothing's gonna fall into your lap. You know what I mean? So
see now but it's such a crazy thing because you gotta sit up and wonder, okay, if I work hard and I'm super talented, because I'm not making the music that's being so well received at this time, is it even worth it for me? Like, am I as an artist, am I wasting my time there?
No.
Or should I, or as we used in last week's show, like with the example of Lil Uzi Vert, should I just go ahead and conform? Because what's popular is what's going to get me to where I want to be.
You can go two ways with it. And I feel like if you really have a true love and passion for your craft and what you do and your message, then you're just going to stick with it and ride it out. You're not going to conform. You know what I mean? Because like we said, there's plenty of underground circuits over the globe who are receptive to that style of music. You know what I mean?
It just may not be the big thing here.
You know what I mean? It just may not be the big thing here, but it's still a place for it. You know what I mean? And you can capture that place.
And you're actually correct, man, because I was working with this guy from Holland maybe about 2 years ago, and all he listened to was like 90s hip-hop and early 2000 hip-hop. And he was like, the stuff that's out now is trash. And I was like, word, that's how you feel? And he was like, yeah, back home, we still think Chingy is new back home. Like,
and they are the ones who are gonna go out to these shows if Chingy comes to town. If he comes to town, I know it seems taboo for a lot of the listeners out there listening to the newer stuff, but he's still touring. So when he comes, that crowd is gonna you know what I'm saying?
Right. So I think what it comes down to is that there's a place for everybody in the game, and although popularity may beat talent on the mainstream, it's still important that like you stay who you are. And you cater to the crowd that's going to deal with you because they may not be the majority. They may not be the people that you see day in and day out. Yes. But there is a market for you.
Because it's like once you conform, that's like what you always say, the beginning of the end. Because, yeah, you might thrive and you might do good in that, but you're not going to really be happy with yourself. You know what I'm saying? I remember I heard a rapper say, I'd rather stick to what I know and true to myself than to, you know what I'm saying, switch up and become one of these weirdo rappers because now I have to go back to my neighborhood, my family, and they know that's not me. It's almost like you seen CB4.
Yeah,
it's like that, man. It's like you're not gonna be received.
It's such a weird topic though, man, because of the fact that those same people would not say a word if you were able to provide for them. Right. Because Ice-T, like a lot of people question Ice-T's authenticity when he took, the role in New Jack City and when he became a cop on Law and Order. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, you Ice-T, you missed a cop killer." You know what I'm saying? You can't accept this kind of role. What kind of stuff is this?
And see, man,
but then he called back home. And he talked to his homies because he was rolling 60s Crip. He talked to some of his Crip homies and he was like, "Hey, how y'all feel about this?" And they was like, "Well, shit, you getting paid?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, do your thing then." Like,
and it's not like he's playing a crooked cop or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right, but what I'm saying is those same people who would look at you funny if you did become a weirdo rapper.
As long as it's benefiting them.
Exactly. If I became a weirdo rapper, right, one of these little rappers with the colored dreads and stuff, right, and I had like a net worth, and I had a net worth on the upwards of like 100 to 200 million, then I could take care of all the people that would say something bad. Yeah. So if I'm coming back and I'm investing money, exactly, hush money. So if I come back,
I'm gonna say something bad. So are you gonna give me some money?
But what I'm saying is,
right, he got something tucked away for you.
Right, you might feel like, okay, he on some other stuff, but if I come and I pay all the Really B college tuition, what Really B gonna say about it?
I'm gonna be like, look,
y'all tripping? He the realest, like, like that's what he. That's
exactly.
I'm reposting every song, movie.
For real,
Paying my
man.
tuition?
For real, man. Shout out Podcast Detroit, man.
No, shout out to Eastern because he's coming to pay my tuition.
Oh yeah, okay, man. Shout out to Eastern too, man. We got their colors in the building too. So shout out to them,
Shout out
man.
to EMU.
Shout out to
because
JNS Photography, man.
So
Shout out to JNS Photography. Get your plug. Come on, get your plug, man. You need your plug,
This
man.
guy,
Tell them
man.
something. You want to tell them something? Tell them something, man. I believe in plugs around here, man.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I'm really enjoying this. For this to be the second episode, it's hard to believe because you guys are great.
thank you.
So I just want to thank you for allowing me in the studio and just to see the behind the scenes thing. And your camera guy over there, he's awesome.
At his finest.
He's
At his
chilling. If
finest
y'all
over
would
there,
see the
man.
camera guy,
Y'all
y'all probably think he's standing up working and moving. He is on the floor, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't
So
give my secrets away.
So I just feel like, I guess we all can agree that popularity is definitely today in the climate today is trumping talent.
Yeah, but that's not really what's the question. The question is more so like how does it affect what's being promoted? Because you got people who are super popular, but they don't have a lick of talent. But then you got people who are super talented, but because it's not what's being put on the forefront, then it's like they give up on their craft, or they don't really want to
Or compromise.
or compromise. You know.
So what do you think? Let's go back because you was an artist. So what do you think would be in the best interest?
To be honest, it solely depends on what you want. Like if the allure of the game is what you want, meaning things that go along with the game is what make you happy, then conform and go for what's popular. Because if I just want to get on and I just enjoy the lifestyle, I want to drive the fast cars. I want to be with all of
get
the...
on that way. Though.
Right. Well, a lot of people are. A lot of people in the game like that right now. So like Lil Yachty said, like my culture, like Joe Budden asked him on what was it, Everyday Struggle. He said, "What really makes you happy?" Because it's not the Rolex, it's not the money, it's not the women. And Lil Yachty said, "Bullshit," because I was a college student and I was eating ramen noodles. And girls wouldn't even look at me. They didn't give a damn about my name. They didn't give a damn about my music. So he conformed, and when he conformed, now that lifestyle came to him because that lifestyle is what he wanted. So that's what makes him happy at the end of the day. Okay. But if you're an artist who really about your salt, who really about what you got into it for, like me, myself, and like last week's guest, shout out Fool Boy Marley, we artists from a different time to where it was about studying your craft and really being about your craft, making the best possible product. If that's what you really want to do, if that's what you get in the game to do, then you can't even be a part of this because it's gonna be some BS to you.
Right.
Okay, can I change my answer?
Go ahead.
I think both of them matter. For the simple fact that I myself do YouTube. I myself have this big old following base on social media. But when it's time comes to me, like, hey, you guys, go watch a video, they all ain't about to go watch it.
Right.
So the talent, me on the video has to be doing something. Like, the talent has to be there for them to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go click on that video. So I think both matter.
But it's not necessarily talent. It could be popularity.
Or it could
so
just
you
be
might not
something
even.
shocking.
You might not
if
have
I
to
was
be.
this popular, they would all go watch it. I would have that 1 point whatever K on YouTube.
But
Then I got on social media. I don't have that.
But it could also be shock value too, because
That's
right.
almost the key, essential to actually.
Right.
At this current state of hip hop right now, you have to have some type of shock value and controversy to go along with it.
I don't even know
You
what
have
that
to have
means. So
Look, shock value is like it's so unbelievable. I have to click on it. Like I can't believe somebody would film this. I can't believe this is happening. Right
You know
well,
what I mean?
that's why I
Like Boom
rebranded
Gang.
myself. I'm working
Yeah,
harder.
like
You know what I'm saying?
Like Boom Gang, somebody just running in okay, I'm getting something, and then they run off and take it for free. Like
Okay, I get it.
yeah, like I can't believe he just did that. Like, so you gonna watch it just because it's so shocking.
And see, I wasn't doing nothing like that for the simple fact. I'm like, oh, all I gotta do is post on social media. They about to go watch whatever. I could be sitting there eating food, and they about to go watch. Nope, gotta work harder.
I mean,
So yeah, I do.
It
Need stuff like that.
It's
I don't know.
crazy because you have people who will just watch just to watch. I mean,
do
think
have
about all the cat videos on YouTube.
And I don't understand that, but I'm going to say that for a different day.
You said all of the what?
The cat videos, like
people
just
just
random
watch
animal
cats?
videos. Yeah, people
Hold
just,
on. This is something new to me. I've never seen this.
Really?
People sit there and watch cats?
Yeah, dude.
Cats playing,
Yeah.
cats eating.
Like somebody would just record.
Just cats
It
just
sounds
living
so
their best
stupid,
life.
Right,
but
just
yeah.
living their best life.
So I guess you
man.
can't say that too. People be watching this. So I don't know, honestly.
Man, this is crazy. I've
I
never
have
heard
no
of this
idea.
cat thing, man.
I don't watch
So do they
cats.
leave the dogs out? Like they don't watch
It's,
dogs?
no, it's just a
It's just
video
a cat
centered
thing?
around cats. And
Come on, man.
but you have those weirdos out there. Okay,
That's
well, people who
popularity,
just
man. Those
into-
cats are popular, man. Like that's popularity. Like,
Cats are
they don't have no
popular
talent.
animals,
They
I
just
guess.
eating
You can say that.
whatever it is they eat, man. Like,
But
Y'all
drinking
stressing
milk.
me
Look
out.
at the milk drinking. Look at the cat drinking milk. I'm about to say the
'Cause
milk
now I'm
drinking
about
cat
to
out
go
the
buy a
milk.
but I mean to get
Yeah, I
to
get you.
to bring it full circle, what I'm saying is, yeah, you could have talent, and that is what would draw people in. But also, what draws people in could just be something that is just shocking, or they just didn't expect it. So they're just gonna click on it just because. And then the people who sit up and watch cat videos
That's
are
where
the
the
outliers.
clickbait
They the
titles
people
come
who
in.
just. Or they're like
Yeah, that's
grandmas.
what, you know, because it's like if you into cat videos, if you see a video that says cat turns into Catwoman, that number is going
I ain't gonna lie,
that's
I'm clicking on
that's
that.
gonna go up. You clicking on that, like especially you love cats already.
I
It's
already
like,
know it's going 9 times out of 10 be some BS, but
just because it might, like you hoping, like you hoping that you
That's
see
that
this, man.
clickbait
Like,
for you. I just did clickbait.
what you mean? All right, tell us, share with us.
YouTube video called My First Time.
Okay, all right.
Y'all
So
gonna
yeah,
go
yeah,
click
yeah,
on it,
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
y'all?
yeah.
I
But you
saw
gonna
that
go
and
on
I was
there.
like, I don't know if I want to know this much about.
It could be
It
your
was
first
so
time.
clickbait. It had nothing to do. It was my first car, my first job.
Yeah, yeah,
You
right,
thought
okay.
I was about to sit there and
Yeah,
watch?
yeah.
My
It
mama
goes
watched my
into that.
videos because
Okay, that's a good clickbait.
It was. People
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, "What you saying?" I'm like,
Go watch it. You gonna like it.
Go
It's
click
deep.
on it.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
clickbait.
Yeah.
So you
So
got
that
that.
comes to
Yeah. So
title has to be.
yeah, the
Don't
title
work
got to
me
be.
wanting to
Yeah.
go click on it.
So how do y'all feel like as far as if the game will ever transition back, because popularity is right now, as we just said, like on the forefront.
As long as we have social media, no.
No, you don't think it ever transition back?
Mm-mm. Nah, if one day Instagram and Facebook and Twitter disappear,
No, look.
Yeah,
I feel
maybe.
like it will transition back, but you gonna still have to have some type of shock value. You're gonna have to have some type of shock value, just because what she said.
So
Social media.
talent is enough. So it's more or less
talent
you have
is
to
not
have
enough. Is that what you're saying?
talent is not enough. So you got to have a gimmick. Is that what
Not
you're
really
saying?
a gimmick. Not really a gimmick. But just put it like this.
Because it's got to be
Let-
something that got to draw the people.
Yeah, that's what I'm
to
saying.
come
So
full
this is
circle.
the example I'm going to use. Meek Mill. Meek Mill has all the talent in the world, but he keeps up on social media and he pushes out an image of this is the luxurious life. This is what I'm living. You want to keep up with me? You like luxurious things? Who in the urban community or even in the world doesn't like luxurious things? And they don't like seeing people living their best life. Why do you think that's so popular right now? Everyone wants to live their best life. So he's showing, I'm living my best life. So this is entertainment. Like, this is motivation. You can come check me out. This is what I'm doing, but he still has the talent.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, here. So the flip side to that is Meek is an artist who got popular before like this new wave hit.
But he came out like that.
He came out
Flashy.
like that, but that was his story. You know what I'm
You
saying?
have to be
Like,
flashy in hip hop. That's what it was built on. Look at Slick Rick.
Not necessarily, because J. Cole outsold Meek Mill
But
4
that's
CDs to 1.
But
and,
what would you say hip hop was built on? Like it was
oh yeah,
built
for
on.
sure. Well, no, I won't say it
It
was
was-
built off that, but I will say
It came to that.
transition.
Yeah, that's what it transitioned, and that's what it
Because-
was up until all of this
And Run DMC
Social media
actually
stuff.
is the first person to make it.
with the rope chains and
Well,
all that.
before then, he had a lyric that it was something like love does not buy my clothes, love doesn't pay my love don't pay my bills. I
Okay.
actually had it screenshotted in my old phone, but just Run DMC period actually kicked off this money over cash rules everything mentality in hip hop. So knowing that, will we say that because you have to flaunt to be pop to get somewhere in hip hop, Is that the reason that it's got to this point? Because I heard this author, he had a very interesting quote, and he said something to the effect of, you can't live your life based off of social media, because when you look at social media, you're comparing your real life to everybody else's highlight reel.
And that's true. Drake said that too.
So I may look at your page and I may be like, I'm not where I want to be.
And that's
every day.
But you only, but like women, for example, y'all take 30 pictures before you pick the perfect one.
And my picture still don't be hitting.
Stop it. Yeah. But it's like you do that. You go through the process of 30 pictures, then you put up one, and I was one girl who like, oh man, she's so beautiful. I wish I looked like that. But she don't know that you took 30 pictures to get that one perfect pose.
But the reason why I say it'll always be a place for talent is because just like with social media, okay, you say people look and they might envy or admire a certain lifestyle that someone's living. But, you know, I feel like people also admire people who are willing to open up and show the reality of life. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm waking up and this is me. I woke up like this. I'm grinding towards this just like you grinding towards something. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's always a place for that authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might not be the end thing, but it's always a place for it. But that's why I say popularity is definitely trumping talent, but it's still an area for talent to thrive. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not the easy route.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's the narrow path versus the one that's wide open.
The one that's wide open. You can just jump right up in there and be good. Like, oh, I got colorful hair and I got this banging beat. I'm here. You feel me? Like, but I mean, I don't like that. I mean, I like the music, but I don't like the concept of that. I don't like that hip hop is being so watered down, man.
So do you feel like it's ever going to get to? So okay, we know like all of this is a trend, and the trends are eventually going to die, right? Do you feel in 4 to 5 years, because Tekashi 6ix9ine can't make the same type of music, he can't. He's going to be a different person in 5 years. Yeah. And the kids that's listening to him is going to be adults at that point, the same way we talked about Odd Future last week. People are going to transition into different phases of their life to where your music is no longer relevant, right? So knowing that, does that mean that we're going to keep getting a new wave of artists every couple of months or every year?
No,
because it won't come back around, or do you think it'll eventually recycle itself to where talent has to be the thing because we're so tired of it?
I feel like it's almost like it's a toss up because we sort of kind of got to sit back and kind of wait for the upcoming generation to determine it, what they gravitate towards. You know what I mean? Like, because right now, I honestly feel like the whole new wave of artists actually can sustain a nice little run. Just because of like we say, the beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
right.
Everyone parties. Everyone parties. So,
but what I'm saying is, after 3 years, so let's just say Uzi. Like right now, the people who are 18 to 21 listening to Uzi, they're not gonna be the same people at 24.
Nah.
Right, but it's still gonna be another batch of young kids coming. So those particular artists might not be
right,
popping,
but this is
but
what I'm saying.
That style might.
But
be.
he can't remain relevant because of the fact that he's gonna be timed out. Like he's gonna be somebody that the people who's in college 3 years ago listened to. It's gonna be a new Lil Uzi in that time. So So that's what I'm saying. Are we gonna continue to get a new batch of artists every couple of months?
I believe so.
Year?
I honestly feel like this new wave is gonna have, because think about it, booty music could make a strong comeback today.
Yeah,
booty music could make a strong comeback today, just because of the type of music. People like being happy more than sad. You know what I'm saying?
Uncle Luke, you know.
I listen. You listen to it?
Now you know.
I still listen to it. I listen
to the booty music.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Black Pack, for
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? They need to bring Freaknik back.
I'm
For real,
trying to learn how to twerk as we speak.
They need to bring that back, man. You feel me? But I just look at it like it's always a space for that because people like being happy rather than sad. You know what I mean? Or not even sad, but they kind of run from the realities of life. And when you go out and you listen to a nice upbeat song, you're not thinking about the realities. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a gateway for that. So I feel like it'll always be a place for that.
Okay, so let me just put you hip to a conversation I was having actually with Ed and another friend of ours named Eric. And we were sitting back and we were talking about the trend of the music industry and how I believe it was either last year or the year before last. It was the first time in music industry history that catalogs outsold singles.
Yeah.
So that means people are going back and buying albums,
Yeah.
and buying records, like actual products versus the new music that's coming out. So we in this weird space where artists can sell singles, but they can't sell projects.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, right. Yeah,
so,
that's crazy.
but with that in mind, it has to. As I would think it has to come full circle because we can't support an artist that can't give us full material. I'm not gonna listen to a full Uzi album. I'm not gonna listen to a full Pump album. I'm not gonna listen to a full none of those albums.
I'm going on record. I will listen to a full Uzi album.
Right, you might,
Like,
you might. There's going to be outliers.
No,
with
I'm
every,
just saying.
Right,
No,
with
yeah,
every
yeah.
situation, there's going to be outliers. But for the first time in like music industry history, like
Yeah, that's
catalogs were outselling like new material.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but that can also just mean like, you know, it means more. That music means more. You know what I'm saying? Like it has more of a message. Like people not really.
but that's what we're saying. Like that means like that music has talent and longevity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
I'm saying is like the popular people have to phase themselves out because you're not
They-
gonna. You can't make a full length. You can't make a classic.
They're gonna phase out for sure. That's without a doubt because hip hop is a youthful genre. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like you're gonna phase out regardless. Only way that
But the question is, when they phase out, does it phase into more of them, or does it transition back to where it was?
more of them. This is what I feel. I feel like it's just gonna be more of them because just like I said, booty music could come back and be a hit. It could be. It's just like we said. Artists are it's evolving. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason why it's not. You know what I mean? It's because the game is evolving, but it still is a place for it.
I'm just trying to
I
figure
know,
out why
man.
your phone
I know, man.
is.
Come on, I'm trying to ignore it like y'all was trying to ignore it, but y'all couldn't. I'm sorry, man. Nobody. It's all right, man. It's okay. It's good.
The girlfriend.
No, man.
With an S.
But but no, I feel like that's the
Sunday girl.
those are notifications
girl.
coming to my phone from streaming sites, and they telling me these new wave artists.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
streaming
man.
sites.
A whole lot of streaming sites.
But
It's still vibrating.
but no, so I just feel like it's gonna be a place for it, just because it's just like club music, clubs. People like to party. People are running away from realities of life. When they go to the club, they either celebrating something, or they just want to try to take their mind off of the week they just had. So they can still, though these type of artists can still make a living. You know what I mean?
But for a limited time only. That's what
For
I'm
them,
saying.
a limited time for them personally, like their individual careers, because it's gonna fade out. You get older, you can't be looking like this, and you can't be talking about this. But it's gonna be a whole nother new up and coming young people who gonna slide right into those slots.
I
You know
hope
what I
they
mean?
change it back to how it was.
But I feel like if we're gonna talk about overall the dominant, you know what I'm saying, aspect of everything, I feel like it. Man, I don't know, man. It's scary, man. it's scary. I don't know. I want to say yes, just because I want that, but it's like, man, J. Cole and Kendrick and even Meek, you know, as far as mainstream, they like our only hope right now, man. Like,
On the
mainstream on a
So-
mainstream level.
So now, the question is: does underground stay? Do you continue to be an artist made geared ready for underground? Because you can make music that people are going to be receptive of when they leave those situations. You know, when
Right.
they leave the club, when they don't want to turn up and all of that stuff. But your music ain't going to be on the forefront. You know, it's limited spots for that, and the people who are in those spots been around, like you said. So, keeping that in mind, are we gonna continue to get people who, like a person who decides right now, like I want to rap, are they gonna go for what they know gives them longevity, or are they gonna go for the trend? And
They're
that's
gonna go buy some followers.
I would recommend, look, this is what I would recommend to artists coming up today, honestly, to have longevity. I would recommend, and it's not easy, but ain't nothing in life going to be easy. I feel like you should try to come out with a more wider image and message, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to your music. Because, like you said, it'll be better for you. You will have more longevity if you can appeal to mainstream and underground. That's why Lil Wayne, people was looking at Lil Wayne crazy when he like, oh, I'm putting out a rock album, or he was just doing certain stuff. But he just was looking at it from, I'm about to appeal overseas as well as here. I done dominated over here. You know what I mean? So
I
now
can do so much more with my craft.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
can do so much more, and I'm going to be around longer because, okay, let's just say, okay, he hasn't really been relevant in the States, right? But I bet you any money you go over to, I bet you go over to any other foreign country, and they probably got a huge billboard of Lil Wayne. So he's
Sure.
relevant somewhere in the world.
What's who's the people who made Annie Up? Who is that? Annie Up, get that fool. I don't know if I can sing that without us having to pay.
First of all, I must need to research my music because I don't know what
What's
that
that?
is either.
That's a classic record.
M.O.B. Mobb Deep, maybe? I don't know.
Definitely not
It wasn't
my.
Mobb Deep. Was it Onyx?
Song y'all are talking about.
Annie Up.
Was it Onyx?
They were signed with Rockefeller. I can't think of
Oh.
In any case, they're huge.
Young
They
Guns.
they've been irrelevant over here since that record dropped. Like they was one hit.
Yeah, right.
But over in like I believe Finland, like they
Yeah.
are huge.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
So
huge. They're rock
yeah,
stars.
man. So it comes with. I feel like it's better for you to come out more well-rounded than. And this is what J. Cole been trying to preach to all the young up-and-coming artists. Like, you have to think about longevity. It's in the best interest of you and your family. Like, the longevity is what's gonna get you paid and is gonna keep the money rolling in. Unless if you smart and you getting all of these booking money and show money, if you investing it into something else, then all right, go ahead, have your fun because you're young, but you investing. You know what I mean? But if you care about this craft and you really this is what you want to do, then you need to think about, creating more long-lasting content.
Now, in creating something that's long lasting, right? That kind of gets to the topic of creativity because you can't do the same thing and expect it to continuously work.
Right.
Because eventually that's gonna fall off. Like you said, Lil Wayne started to experiment. He started to do more.
Yeah.
Started to play guitar.
So you had to
know,
be creative.
Right. Play guitar, put out a rock album. I'm gonna change my transition from this Holly Grove gangster to I skateboard and I'm a free spirit now. Like you have to be able to recreate yourselves with the time.
Yeah, just like Chris Brown.
Right.
Really be over there.
Right. See,
Talk about my boyfriend, what y'all gotta say.
So,
Man, look, because I just remember last episode you said you ain't really feeling the new Chris Brown and how the angle.
Me and him talked. It's okay.
Okay, all right, man.
Okay,
We
okay.
good. All right.
but
I
what
told him next track gotta be a little different.
It gotta be different. All right, we good.
But what I'm getting at is a lot of people get off on like putting out trash or putting out questionable material for the sake of saying, okay, it's creative, it's advancing the genre. You know what I'm saying? So, at what point do we say, okay, you may be doing something creative, but you're not putting out good material. You're not putting out good work. Like, and I'm gonna say because the topic of this week's podcast is popularity versus talent, we have the immensely talented Kanye West, right?
I thought you was about to say Relly B.
You too. We gonna
Right.
get to that later
knew
on.
my
Right.
name was
But,
coming in.
but you have the immensely talented Kanye West, right? And then he starts trying to. He was always a trendsetter, but at some point he became like he recognized that and he wanted to just try and do something different. He was always the one trying to like beat everybody to the punch, which is why he was able to come out with a record like Yeezus, which is why he was able to find talent like Travis Scott, so on and so
He
forth.
do find some talent now.
Right.
Can't give him that.
Shout out Big Sean too, man.
Right, and Big Sean, of course, Detroit's
Yeah.
own. But he put out questionable projects like when 808s and Heartbreak first came out. The world wasn't ready for it. They was like, "What the hell is this? Like, you can't. You a hip hop artist? Why are you putting out this record? Like, what's going on here?" Then when he came out with Yeezus, people was like, "Oh, you tripping? I don't know what the hell this is, but this ain't no hip hop album."
Right.
And now you have artists but he got away with it because he was Kanye West. That's what I'm saying. So his popularity like overrided everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And now elements of that music is peppered into hip hop now. So at what point do we have like a divider? You know what I'm saying? To where we say like, okay, you're being creative, but what you're putting out is questionable material. And then does it even get to that point? Do we just allow people to create? Because it may turn into something that everybody copies.
Yeah.
Like that album.
You have to be creative. You have to be creative in any genre. You know what I'm saying? You want to be creative, and I love pushing the envelope of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like you said, stuff can stay the same and repetitive, and it's like
Then it dies.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like we have to take our hats off to those Kanye's, and because okay, a lot of everything creative is not going to stick. You just got to understand that. You know what I mean? But even with that being said, he still sticks to his guns, and he really stands by being a extremely creative individual. So with him being creative, I feel like a lot of stuff he's pushed the culture forward. You know what I mean? So I don't think being creative really, I don't think you can go wrong with it. It's just like keep doing it. You know what I mean? It might not stick, but keep doing it. Because with these people that's just like conforming and just coming out being like the last artist, it's not taking us anywhere.
Right.
Like we not really, it's not doing us no justice. But
So a lot of people say like XXX music was pushing the boundaries, like breaking the glass ceiling. People were really able hip hop was able to like have more sound because of like the type of music he was making.
He was
But-
scaring me.
Right. See, now if you listen to the music, then it's like, okay, this shit is just bad. Like I don't know.
It might have been good. That first line, I was like, oh,
I mean,
See, so that brings up the question: what's bad and what's actually creative?
it don't
because-
matter
no,
because
but
popular. So
my whole
the
thing is
talent
this though,
is-
man. Like being creative, everyone's not gonna like it or understand it because it's creativity. Like people, something that you might think is creative, it came out of your mind. So people might not receive it as being how you like it. You know what I
get what
mean?
you're saying.
So, but as long as you being creative, something's gonna stick. Something's gonna stick. You know what I mean? Like just think about everything that even like since the existing periods of time, like everything was creative. Everything.
Now, how do you guys feel about mediocrity being like covered with creativity? Because because you have artists who put out like mediocre work, and a lot of people just say like, oh, they're being edgy, oh, they're being different, oh, they're just creating this like new type of sound. Like, is it at what point? I guess what I'm trying to say this whole time is, how do we differentiate talent and doing something creative from just being trash?
I mean, look, okay, because being creative, you still have to stick to the guidelines of hip hop. Like you can't try to, and that's what I hate, man. I really don't like it. Like, okay, when Jay-Z and Linkin Park did, the little collab,
Yeah,
it was
the
cool.
crossover,
It was
the-
cool
the-
because
yeah.
they made it work. Like it was good. Like Jay-Z was really rapping and the band did their thing. It was cool,
Right, it
but
was really good music.
you know what I'm saying? But when you being creative and you losing the whole essence of hip hop, that's what I
or
don't
whatever
like.
genre you do, period.
yeah, or whatever genre you do, and that's why the imagery that's being put out of the hip hop artists today is I'm definitely not agreeing with it. Definitely not agreeing with it because that image to me, it's not a part of our culture. You're not about to walk down the street. How many people do you walk down the street today and you actually can say, if it ain't the tips, that you could really see people with full color dreads, man?
I mean, sure,
Today.
that's the only thing. That's the only.
It's more to
I
it.
mean, yeah, exactly. But the stuff. See, this is the thing. We can't pick and choose where we want to say like people are wrong, because we could say, okay, yeah, you're wrong for having colored hair. That's not a part of the culture. But then we accept other aspects that are completely has nothing to do with the culture. Like let's I'm gonna just give you examples. Like we talked. I'm gonna give you two examples. One for the quality in music. When we talked about like the quality in music and how like where do we differentiate creativity from trash? Let's think about like the auto-tune movement. Like a lot of people got off using auto-tune and saying, oh, I like Kanye said, I like to use auto-tune because I can bend my voice in different ways and I can create a more interesting record, a more interesting sound by using it.
Right.
But then it got to a point where people was literally just crooning on that shit. Like
But
it wasn't even good.
But see, auto-tune was used in hip hop.
Right, but it wasn't. It was used very sparingly.
Yeah,
very sparingly,
but it wasn't.
And then it became a thing.
Yeah, but how?
And then
It became a thing, and it became trash.
Okay, so
Exactly, that's
but
what
my
I'm
whole
saying.
thing is this though: how often before this new wave did you see artists coming out with colorful dreads, chokers on, tight pants? When did you see that?
The tight pants been a thing since about 09.
Well, actually before then.
Prince,
But I ain't gonna say
right?
the tight pants.
Okay, but look, so this is my argument against like the fashion of like the
I'm just
new
talking about the
generation.
image. The image.
The-
the whole
okay,
image.
even the image. The image has always the image, and this I know a lot of people not gonna be happy when I say this, but this is the
Oh,
truth of the
Lord.
matter. The image in hip hop has always been based off of
creativity.
not creativity,
Really?
white
And trends.
it was about so hip hop has always, like you said, been about status, and something that was a big part about status was how much your shit cost. And for a long time in black culture, we couldn't afford what like white people were. So once we got to a certain point to where like we made so much money, then we started wearing like all of these high fashion design houses, high end design houses and shit, just to say like, okay, well, I separate myself. I'm in the upper crust. You know what I'm saying? No, real talk. So even now, like let's just say like let's just think about the footwear. Vans is a very popular thing. I got hold in 07 for wearing Vans. Because it wasn't yet integrated in the black culture.
Really,
but
B
now
still, she's not conforming. She don't like Vans.
she don't like okay.
I don't like
You don't-
that.
Yeah, look
I
at
get a round of...
But the majority, but if we keep it in a buck, a lot of people and a lot of black people now wear Vans because it's integrated into the culture. But it came from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same. It's like that with
ugly.
It's like that with all of our fashion. We may take it and
You trying
flip
to say
it.
all of our fashion is
Hell,
ugly?
not
Oh,
ugly,
okay.
but
It
it usually originates from somewhere else.
And we
Like,
put our little
yeah.
flair on it.
and then we put our flair on it. Like
Yeah.
we before like Polo, Ralph Lauren, and all of that shit became like a trend in black culture. Guess who Ralph Lauren is?
Yeah.
He ain't the nigga.
Yeah, but look, my whole thing is this though too, bro. Look, like, okay, the culture that you speaking on, like the whole shift change and all of that. I feel like it was accepted because we put our own flair on it, meaning we added the urban essence into it. So with
Yeah, I get what you're
Kanye
saying.
will wear the tight pants, the tight fitted pants, some Louis V's, but he have a regular shirt on.
That
It
shirt
wasn't too
probably
far
cost
fetched,
some money,
right? But it wasn't too far fetched. Or he have a regular collar polo on. It wasn't too far fetched. He was putting a twist on it. Today it's just so rappers are rock stars. Like this what we just gonna say.
But this is
Like-
that's my argument. That's what I'm saying. Like in hip hop, we've always taken other things from different
And put our
cultures
twist
and
on
put
it.
our twist on it. But now, because it's not something that I necessarily agree with or something that I'll wear, now we saying, oh well, you can't have color hair. Oh well, you can't wear chokers and you can't do this and stuff. Like, but
you know what?
But
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
but imagine,
I can agree
right?
with
But imagine how like the people. Let's just say like a West Coast rapper from like the late 80s or early 90s was looking at artists back in 09, 2010 when they started wearing polo, when they started wearing more
they
form-fitting
looking
clothes.
like-
It was like, the fuck is you wearing? Like, that ain't hip-hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's why I say we can't really look down on these kids. Like,
I don't look down on them, but you know what I honestly would say? The image is very important, but I feel like if the image was added with an actual like more of a like I don't even want to say message, but more of talent, it will be accepted. Like these artists, they sound like they trying to change the sound of hip hop.
And they all sound the same.
They sound the same, and they trying to change the sound of hip hop,
Look
and
the
I will
same,
never
sound the
agree. I will never
same.
be okay with that,
Right,
because
but-
no
okay.
other genre is doing that. You're not gonna listen to a Linkin Park album and they about to bust out with a 16. You're not gonna hear that.
okay, so this is where it gets interesting because you have artists like NWA, and I'm a big, you know me, I'm a big interview guy. So in 2006, Ice Cube had an interview with 106 in Park, and they asked him about the state of hip hop, and this was like it was either 06 or 07, and this was like right after Soulja Boy had just came into the game. And everybody was saying, oh, well, Soulja Boy doesn't have a place. Like, we shouldn't accept that type of music. But then Ice Cube came on 106 in Park, had to sit down with I believe it was Jaleesa and Tigger at the time, or something.
One of them.
One of the, it was either Jaleesa and Tigger or Terrence J and Roxy. But
I said
Rocky. Yeah, it's we somewhere in that ballpark.
Roxy.
But okay,
Yeah.
Roxy.
Yeah,
But
I
she was
remember
fine.
Roxy,
She was
boy.
fine, boy. She.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So in 06 or 07, he sits down and they ask him, "How do you feel about like music and how do you feel about Soulja Boy?" And he said, "Well, when NWA came out, a lot of people had a problem with our music, and a lot of people said we wasn't real hip hop because we was gritty, because we cursed, because we wasn't backpack, we wasn't rapidy rap. You know what I'm saying? We was
real
but
thugs.
now, and right, they was cut. But now in hip hop lore, they looked at as legends. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
So
because everybody got her now.
right, so right, but that's what I'm saying. So how can that's where it gets tough to say, because how can we necessarily say that they're wrong, but then at the same time acknowledge that there were people who changed the game
I
for the
mean,
better?
because this is what I'm gonna say with that, man. Like when that was changed, it was very relatable, man. That's why it was a hit. That's why it was successful, because this is what was going on in these neighborhoods.
True.
So that was accepted for that reason. But if we can't even relate to it,
Yeah.
then what?
I do
What are we
think
doing?
hip hop needs gatekeepers.
Yes, man.
For sure. Like,
Yes, and it's not
because-
that. It's not no gatekeepers, man.
Because this is what it was back in the day. Back in the day, hip hop was special to like the black community because it was more than music. It was like our form of news, like NWA.
Yeah.
Like when they came out with "Fuck the Police," that was a lot of people felt like that record was crazy. But then 2 years later, we saw Rodney King get his ass whipped. So
Right.
we knew the truth. Like it was facts behind it. Like, okay, that's what those guys were saying this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Now the music doesn't, what it's getting to is music is it doesn't have anything in it anymore. It's becoming like every other genre. It's like with rock music, you can make a rock song and it doesn't have to have a message in it. It could just be like
You yelling,
right,
and jumping
you
around.
could really,
That's what
right,
it
you
is.
really, it could just be the energy of it. It
Yeah.
could just be the fun of it. So I think like because we don't have gatekeepers who say like this is what you need to
have
adhere,
yeah.
and this is what hip hop is supposed to be about. This is what it was built off of.
Exactly, man.
Now it's transitioning.
You
to
have
this point.
that. You have that in rock. You have it. You have it. Somebody, I don't know who it is. It might be these executives, whatever. These executives will not allow a rock artist to come in there and say, "All right, man,
I made
I
country
like
music."
rock, but you know, I deliver it in a hip hop way." No,
Yeah, no.
we don't want to sign you. You see what I'm saying? But when it's a rapper, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's because of the label heads are only going to accept what we accept. So I feel like
That's
since
when
we're so,
popularity come
that's when the
in
popularity
For
come
sure,
in.
for
But
sure.
we're so receptive to creativity. We're so open to that, to where, all right, he look a little different, but he got cash.
See,
he
but-
flexing on the ground.
But that's what I was
You
going
know what
to
I'm
say.
saying?
I think in our culture, like we too accepting, because like
It's
it's
dumb. I'm not.
She's so hard nosed, man. It's over.
Right.
Like you.
okay. Well, the
I gotta go to
majority.
the bathroom. That's why I'm just over here like.
Go ahead.
Right, like oh, sure.
I don't know. I come in this station. It's the second Sunday and
Yeah.
drink a whole bottle of water,
water
and be
before
sitting here
sun.
for like an hour. Like,
Look, it's over. She got to take a tinker.
Go ahead, do your thing. But look, all I'm saying. All right, really be stepping off the mic, y'all.
Yeah,
She's going
man.
to the bathroom, but
It happens to the best of us.
right. But what I'm saying is, shit, man. Just it's.
It's when you sit here and you really break it down. See, people don't do that. People just, it's a song, it's catchy, you got a beat. All right, we're gonna move right along. But since we like to, you as an artist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just love music, you know what I'm saying? We gonna sit here and we gonna break this down. But it's not easy. For y'all watching and listening, this is not easy. It's very stressful. We get headaches. He over here about to blow a gasket,
Right,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But
it's-
because when
'cause
you
it's-
really look deep into it, it's really deeper than what you can see on the surface.
Because it's like once it's one of those situations where you damn near don't know what to say about it, because on one hand it's if boundaries aren't broken, then the genre doesn't progress and it eventually dies.
Right.
On the flip side, if you don't maintain said boundaries, then you could lose what the genre is about
built on
altogether.
Man.
And that's kind of the scary place that we're in.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you this, and this how I feel, man. And Ryan, this is just straight from the heart. This is just how I feel. I feel like when the Caucasian listeners of hip hop, because we all know hip hop was built on urban, you know what I'm saying, inner city. When the Caucasian listeners are saying themselves, you said you had a friend who said, I don't listen to this new stuff. It's trash. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they're saying it, man, it's a problem. It's a big problem because hip hop was, I'm gonna say hip hop, kind of like.
But then you also can't lump every.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Caucasian-
not
every
saying
person
that.
that's
I'm not saying
together.
that. I'm not saying that.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, you also can't.
All right, man. We got JNS Exit in the building, man. Check him out on social media, man. At JNS Photog, man. But I'm not saying that.
Because I actually was having this talk earlier in the week, and this is so far off subject, but.
But hold on, time out. Do you feel that, Ryan? I want to hear Ryan's opinion on this, just because we're gonna add this in.
So, say your question again, then.
Basically, do you feel personally? Do you feel like hip hop has taken a turn for the worse at the current moment? Like, as far as like, if we gonna rate it on what it's built on, what you like about hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like it's kind of went way off course?
I don't know it as much as you guys.
Yeah.
So I might be a bad person to answer that, but
Who's your favorite rap artist?
I do like Drake. I like The Weeknd and stuff, and I mean I don't know if this is along that stuff, but I don't keep up with their stuff like all the time. Like I haven't even listened to the new Drake album.
Yeah.
I need to get that, but you know, there's always something, and as long as they're keep creating, making new stuff, yeah,
right?
You know, it's
but
cool.
The whole hip hop. What I'm saying is the whole hip hop aspect of it and what hip hop was built on.
What I'm saying is, did y'all just replace me?
No.
Did I just get replaced?
That quick, man. It happened in the blink of an eye.
Right,
Man.
I didn't came back and got fired. I just wanted to go to the
No, we
bathroom.
just had to add that in there, man, because our engineer, man, we got the greatest engineer around. So, you know, Ryan gonna be able to chime
Ryan
in.
didn't replace
Right,
your
but
girl.
listen, so this is what I was saying. You can't lump all
You can't.
all Caucasian
And I'm
culture
not saying
together
that. I'm
because
not
that's
saying that.
That's not all the case. Because you have people from foreign countries who feel like the culture,
Yeah, it's
Caucasian
great. It's
culture here is
amazing.
great.
Yeah,
No, like my friend from Holland, he looks at the climate of like the United States is fucking insane. He's like, you know, like the people in white culture feel like they're superior than other people and all.
Oh,
They're crazy as hell. And then he just says like the way everything here happens is just ridiculous.
Right.
So you can't make the mistake of putting all cultures together because all cultures don't feel the same way.
So let me just rebuttal that, and I'm gonna say, when the American Caucasian people and supporters, when they see that it's kind of taking a turn for the worse, and it might not be all of them, just like Jen said, and just like Ryan said.
I have one thing to add with that, just because my fiance likes a lot of early 90s and like 2000 like hip hop and all that. She doesn't like a lot of the new stuff. I'll be like, oh, you want to listen to like, she likes The Weeknd and stuff like that, but I'll show her some new stuff that's out. She's like,
Is she like,
I don't like any of this.
you see,
know?
because that's not
friends.
because that's not what you know people come to hip hop for. That's not what they come to hip hop for. They can listen to some rock or they can listen to a whole other genre and get what these artists are. You know what I'm saying? So,
but so here's the thing, bro. Because two things can be true at once. Like that's very true. Mm-hmm. That's not what people our age come there for. But that's a mistake that we making. Like you can only understand things from the perspective that you're viewing it, and we're not. Imagine a 16-year-old. A 16-year-old don't give a damn about none of that real stuff that we talking about. They come into hip hop for the stuff that we talking about.
Exactly.
That we're speaking against.
You know what I'm saying? It serves its purpose. It does, but I just feel like they only know what's available. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we need to make what's available to those young 16-year-olds to be more hip-hop based.
So what you're saying is we need more diversity in the game. There's nothing wrong with what's here, but it needs to be.
It has to be
more
balanced
diversity.
out. It has to be balanced out.
For sure. And that goes back to it being gatekeepers in the game because we don't have any. Like hip-hop is so open. You can literally get in and do whatever. Like Post Malone. Post Malone is the greatest example of somebody pimping the fucking culture. This dude literally was like a country singer or something. Mm-hmm. Like he was doing like Bob Dylan covers on YouTube and it just wasn't getting no love. So eventually he transitioned into I'm Post Malone, I'm a rapper, White Iverson.
Because
you know
that's going to be received. You know what I mean? Like because we're open to the creativity. You know what I mean?
Just, and that's the thing. So at what point, and I call it for lack of better words, and we're gonna start wrapping this up. I call it the nigga syndrome. To where it's like, for real, look, because this is how I would describe it. The nigga syndrome is this: when you come to people and you say like, okay, this isn't right, like this ain't the craft, this ain't what we talked about, this ain't hip hop. Most people, their response is, shit, he getting paid. Oh, shit is cool. Like that's like the mentality. That's the syndrome. Like. Versus you being like adamant about what your genre is supposed to be about. You know what I'm saying? You compromise by saying, okay, well, I'm getting paid or I look cool doing it.
Right.
You know?
Right. So, I mean, all right, so we just going to, in closing with this topic, man, we just going to agree to, well, I don't know if they agree. I don't know if Relly B agrees or Jen, but
we can all go around.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm going to say it go both ways, man, because the popularity, you know, majority is going to rule that, okay, that's what's hot, and you know what I'm saying, because it's mainstream, you know, they like it, it's mainstream. But then again, you got these other artists who actually are talented but not so popular who are a smash on the underground circuit. So, like I said before, it's a place for the talent, but if you're trying to take it to that next level, you're going to have something.
Do a little more.
Yeah, you're going to have to do a little bit more, but it's just it's a very small lane for the talent right now. So, I guess I'll say neutral. Leaning more towards the popularity.
More neutral. Yeah. Really, how you feeling over there?
Remember I said I changed my answer because at first it was like, oh, popularity matters, but I said like talent matters too, and I gave y'all the YouTube thing. Yeah. So I'm like you said, neutral as well. I feel like you need both. So if you don't have one or the other, like you need both. You can't just be popular and no talent, or you can't just have talent. You feel me? And don't have no following base or whatever. So
right, okay.
It's just hard.
It's difficult.
I'm not a rapper.
Well, I'm gonna say I feel like both are very important because you can't be talented and not have anybody following you because then what's the point of you doing it?
Right. And
at the same time, popularity, it's crazy, man.
Then like I said, it's about who follow you.
Very true.
So like I said, Fool Boy, our guest last week. Yeah. I checked his, you feel me, the followers. I looked at him. Yeah. Fool Boy don't have that many followers.
No crazy followers.
But the people that's following him are people that's known.
Yeah.
So it has to do with, and that comes from, I guess, being popular maybe. So he got the talent, and the people who are popular with the following base follows him.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to when it comes to popularity and talent in the game, both are important. I would say if you're an artist, what you end up focusing on is ultimately depending on what makes you happy. If the game is what makes you happy, if music is what makes you happy, crafting the best possible product, then that's what you're going to go for. You're going to lean more towards the talent. But if you focus more so on what gets the likes on social media, what gets people, up going crazy, then you're going to focus more on the popularity. And that's just going to be what it is. So I can't pretend to know what you're mouthing to.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man, look. So we going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with y'all.
All right, y'all. So it's been another episode of the Unwrapped Podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed episode 2. It was about popularity versus talent. Unfortunately, we couldn't have our guest of honor here, but maybe we could get that going in the next episode. So we're not even gonna tell y'all who it was.
Yeah, y'all gotta keep watching, man.
Stay
hey, look, y'all gonna really love the next guest that we got coming on, man. it's a for sure thing. So I don't want y'all to be like, oh, how we know? It's coming. It's coming for sure. So, but y'all gonna love it though, cause y'all gonna get a lot of knowledge, and a lot of insight from a very important person in the community. So looking out for that, man.
So, before we get out of here, Relly B, what you got going on? Anything you want to plug? Tell the people that you got going on.
YouTube. That's all I'm doing right now.
All right. Let the people
know,
know.
like,
Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Relly Bad 100.
Okay,
That's it.
okay.
RELLY.
So that's what the B stand for.
D 100. You said
That's what the B stand
That's
for.
what the B
Okay,
stands
okay,
for. Y'all know this.
I thought, hey, look, they probably thought it was really beautiful. I mean, I don't know.
I
You know what I'm
It
saying?
stands for Relly Bad. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But so, do you got a new video posted up? Like,
I just posted up a challenge with my mama.
Okay, so
That's when the popular come in my feeling challenge.
Yeah,
That's went viral.
Yeah.
Why I gotta be different?
Alright,
I had to
bet,
throw
bet.
my mama in the video.
Plus, it's fun, man. See, because a lot of people probably don't know this, but Relly B is a very talented dancer.
Don't do that.
So
don't do that.
she likes to downplay that, but she's a very talented dancer. So this video should be real good. Y'all can see where she got that from. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we ain't gonna. That ain't where I got it from.
all right, Debo, what you got for the people?
I mean,
you got anything to plug?
Man, look, man, y'all can just be looking out for me to take over these streets, man.
Oh.
Y'all gonna see me. Y'all can y'all can catch me at a bar. On the bar,
Oh my
you know what I'm
God.
saying? Going crazy.
On the bar.
But that's all I got for right now. You feel me? And then
bar.
y'all can catch me next week, live and direct, man, on the Unwrapped Podcast. Man.
Oh my God.
All right, y'all. It's your boy MF and Jen. You can follow me on all social media platforms at MF and Jen. I'm also working on this short film. I accepted a role. I'll tell you guys more about that at a later date. Shout out to Joseph Brown. He's the director. So
Shout out to him.
Yeah, that's something that I'm working on. And I'm gonna give you guys more details as we go. But this is episode 2. Unwrapped Podcast. We see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.